heard of IQ, which stands for intelligence quotient, and in short is a measure of a person's reasoning ability or how smart they are. What about EQ? Well, it is a measure of your emotional intelligence, which is the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. Now, I began the Manage Emotional Intelligence project in my pathways back in January. It required me to journal, something I hadn't done for some time, and to journal for a couple of weeks my responses to some of my experiences, then record whether my response was positive or negative to that experience, and then do soul searching as to why I responded the way I did, and seek out more effective ways to respond. But as I progressed through the project, I was reminded about a class that I had taken many years ago, and a particular lesson within that class, called What I Can Control and What I Can't. That lesson essentially makes up what emotional intelligence is all about. So I'm going to share with you some of the points that I learned about what I can and cannot control. And as I go through each item, think about what you can control and what you cannot. First of all, I'm going to start with what is out of my control. The past. Do you know memories of past events can bring up complex and strong emotions and can today be as real as when it actually happened? That's how strong the mind is. But I can't change the past, but I can learn from the past. So stop ruminating about the past. I cannot control the future. It hasn't even happened yet. I can plan for the future, but I don't know what's going to happen in the future. It's out of my control. I have no control over other people's behaviors and choices, whether on a personal or global scale. What others do is their responsibility, not mine. I have no control. And I can't really control what other people think or feel. People see what they want to see, feel the way they want to feel. Just leave it at that. What happens around me is another thing I have no control of. I am not in control of what happens. Sure, I can make decisions, but regardless of what decision I make, there will always be outside influences that affect situations which I cannot control. What other people think of me, I have no control of. A very wise woman said to me one time when I was said, oh, that person's talking about me. And she stopped me and said, Linda, what other people think of you is none of your business. What is your business and what matters most to you is what you think about yourself. I did tell you she was a wise woman. And I have no control over how others take care of themselves. And you have to remember that if the other person won't take care of themselves, then you can't change their mind. You cannot control that. Yes, absolutely support others, but it's important to nurture yourself first. Self-care encourages us to maintain a healthy relationship with ourselves so that we can transmit the good feelings to others. So there's a few things that are out of our control or out of my control. Now let's go to what is in my control. My boundaries. I have to let others know what is and what is not okay or acceptable. It honors my needs and wants so that I feel respected and safe. And boundaries also help to avoid burnout, stress, and anxiety. I can control my thoughts and actions. What I think about, I actually bring about. And what I think about directly influences how I feel and how I behave. Let me put it into perspective for you. So if you think you're a failure, you'll feel like a failure, then you'll act like a failure, which reinforces your belief that you must be a failure. Therefore, say to ourselves, I am a success. The goals that I set are something I can control. Setting goals gives me long-term vision and short-term motivation. It focuses my acquisition of knowledge and helps me to organize my time and my resources so that I can make the most of my life. I can control what and who I give my energy to. Ultimately, optimized energy allows me to unleash my personal potential and fully engage in the things that are most important to me in life. And I'm very careful who I give my energy to. I can control how I speak to myself, most important, because I can be my biggest fan or worst enemy. Self-talk is important because it has a big impact on how you feel and what I do, and it can be supportive and beneficial, motivating me, or be a negative, undermining my confidence. And I can control how I handle challenges. Facing challenges and navigating my way through them builds resilience capacity. Knowing that I can overcome obstacles, learn from struggles, and benefit from mistakes lays a solid foundation for success in later life. And that makes me stronger. So there you have some things that you can control and you cannot. In close, I heard that people with high IQ may not be as successful in life as people who have a high EQ. And I thought this strange at first. But after consideration and completing the Pathway Project, I see that having emotional intelligence can actually also make me connect with my feelings, turn intention into actions, and make informed decisions about what matters most to me. When we focus on what we can control, our thoughts empower us and then trigger positive emotions. Philosopher Epictetus wrote, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not." Madam Toastmaster.